Hey guys, so for this video I'm gonna show to you how you can create this couch or model this couch using Blender. So to start, I want you to download the file on the description below so you can follow along with the tutorial. So with that, I will assume that you all have the file and let's begin. First, let's delete all the object on the scene by pressing A to select all, then X to delete. Then let's import the reference images by pressing the Shift key plus A key. Then go to Image, Reference. Then locate the images. Let's import first the top view. Then to reset the rotation of this and location, just press Alt R, then Alt G. Then let's import the other references by pressing again the Shift plus A key, Image, Reference, then the location. So let's import the front elevation. Again, to reset, just press Alt R and Alt G. Then let's rotate this by pressing the R key, then X to the X axis. Then type in 90 for the 90 degrees. Then let's move this up here. And let's move this back by pressing the G key and Y to constrain it on the y-axis. So with that, we can now do the blackout for our couch. So I'm gonna go to top view, then I'm gonna add in a cube by pressing Shift plus A key, then mesh, then cube. Then we will match this to our reference. So we're gonna go to X-ray view by pressing this icon here or Alt Z. So we will scale this down by pressing the S key. Then I'm gonna go to the front view by pressing the middle mouse button plus the Alt key. Then I'm gonna go to edit mode, move this up to match the reference. Then I'm go to the object mode, then scale this down, constrain to the Z axis, just like this. Then I'm gonna scale this to the X axis. So we have this shape here. Then I'm gonna go to the edit mode. Then I'm gonna add in a loop cut by pressing the Ctrl R. Then I'm gonna match here and another one here. Then I'm gonna go to the face selection by pressing the number 3 key or this icon here. Then I'm gonna select these faces here. Then press X and delete faces. Then I'm gonna go to the edge selection by pressing this icon here. Then press this one here and this one. Then press F to fill. Then select this edge here. Then press F again to fill. Then you can now press A to select all. Then M to merge by distance. So we can make sure that there is no extra vertex. Then go to object mode again. We can now add in another cube or we can just duplicate this one. Just press Shift plus D, then X to constrain along the X. Then right click mirror along the X axis. So we will just match this to the reference. Go to edit mode, then press 1 to go to vertex selection. Then move these vertices here. Also this one here. And also this one, this side here. Then add in another cube again. Then move this one here. Scale it down. Go to front elevation, edit mode, move it up. Then activate the vertex snapping tool here. Then we will now move this. Then snap it on this edge here, also with this edge here, so it matches the height of our first cube. So let's move this here, scale it along the x-axis. Then I'm gonna match this on the top view, scale it along the y. somewhere around there. Then let's duplicate this one here, put it here, then disable the snapping, then scale it down. Just match this to the reference. It doesn't really need to have the same size, just the location of the reference, so that we know where to put the object. Around here. So let's do this part here. So I'm gonna go to edit mode, face selection, then press Shift D to duplicate, then P to separate by selection. Then I'm gonna move this here. Then I'm gonna go vertex selection mode, then select these vertices here, move it along the Y. Then also here, along the Y. Then I'm gonna move this somewhere around here also. Then press A to select all, then E to extrude. Something like that. Then go to tab view, vertex selection again. Then just match it to the reference. So I'm gonna extrude this part here to complete our backrest. Also, I'm gonna, as you can see in the reference, this one is also in L shape. So we can go to edit mode, add in a loop cut here, then select this face here, then extrude along the y-axis, somewhere around there. So now let's extrude this up or move this up to match the reference for the height of the backrest, somewhere around there. So with that, we have now our blockout for the couch model. We can now start adding details. So let's work with this one first. So I'm gonna press A to select all, then deselect these references here. Then I'm gonna press D to duplicate. Then I'm gonna press M to create a new collection, and I'm gonna call this archive. Then I'm gonna hide this so we have backup before we start doing details. So with that, let's create a collection for this one too. So let's say couch blockout. Then we can now minimize this one. Then let's select this. Then I'm gonna duplicate this here. Then I'm gonna create another collection. This one is detailing. So let's hide the couch blockout for now. Then also let's create a collection for our references. Then we can now hide this too. So let's start detailing this block, the first block of our couch. So to start, I'm gonna go to edit mode, and I'm gonna add in a loop cut here, somewhere around there. Then I'm gonna add in a loop cut here also. So we want this to look more square, these faces here. So this one here too, somewhere around there. Doesn't really need to be accurate or perfect. And also here, and also here. And somewhere around there. So the idea behind this is that whenever we do subdivision surface on a model that doesn't have unequal faces, it doesn't really come out that good. For example, I'm gonna show to you. I'm gonna undo everything. Let's undo this. Then I'm gonna duplicate this. Then I'm gonna do a subdivision for this. Then I'm gonna hit simple. Then let's add in 4 or 3. Hit apply. As you can see, this part here is larger than this part. So whenever I do subdivision, I always set everything first so that every faces can have a equal, what do you call this, equal division or cuts, something like this. Also here and here. So as you can see, if I apply a subdivision surface on this one, if I increase this to 3 and hit apply, simple, hit apply, then as you can see, the subdivision of this is better than this one. So that's the reason behind why I put loop cut first. So with that, let's do it over again. Let's delete that, then let's bring out our blockout. Select this, then duplicate this one, and move it to the detailing collection. Hide the blackout, then let's go to edit mode. Select this loop here, then let's scale it out. Then let's add in a loop cut here. Then go to X-ray view, select this top part here, move it up, scale it down. Then select this loop again here. Then press the G key twice so we can do edge slide. Then scale it out somewhere around there. Then let's add in a bevel by pressing Ctrl B. Then I for inset. Then press E to extrude, then escape to let go. Then go to top view, then X-ray view, then press S to scale inside. Somewhere around there. Also, let's check this part here. Let's select these faces here. Then move it a little. So with this, we can now apply a modifier, which is you can find in this modifier properties. Then select this drop down, then subdivision surface modifier, set to 2, then right click, shades auto smooth. So we have now this look here. By the way, this part here is if we import our perspective, this part here is this one here, the one with where the seam is. So after that, let's create a duplicate of this, then move it to the archive collection. So we have a backup object or backup of this object if something goes wrong. And with that, let's select these edges here. I'm pressing Alt select, and to add another selection, just press Shift plus Alt select, so you can add more edges here. something like this. And with this selected, we can now press Ctrl B to bevel. By the way, let's straighten this first, this loop here, by pressing S to scale, then along the x-axis to 0, then this one here to scale x 0, then move it here, and also this here sy 0, and this one here sy 0. And with that, let's add in a loop cut here. Then let's select these edges here again. Alt select, then Shift Alt to add in another selection. Shift Alt select, Shift Alt select, Shift Alt, this one. Then with that selected, let's go to front view, X-ray view, then Control select this to exclude them to the selection, so we only have this part here. So also the bottom part, let's deselect them. Then with this, we can now add in a bevel again by pressing Ctrl B, something like this. Then inset by pressing I inset. Just a little. Then press E to extrude, escape to let go, then S to scale in. Then we will have this here. So this part here is this part here. So this will act as our seam. Next, let's increase our subdivision by 4 and duplicate this. Then move it to the archive again for backup. Then we will now start sculpting the details to the couch. So let's first apply the modifier, and if you go to edit mode, you will see that this is very dense. So this is good for sculpting, so we can sculpt a lot of details here. So let's go to sculpt mode by pressing this drop down here, sculpt mode, then you will see brushes here, and if you select a brush, you will see these tools here. So if you scroll down, you will see we have here a, what do you call this cloth brush, which is, if we use this here, as you can see, we can create this kind of folds and wrinkles. You can use that, but we were not going to use this for this tutorial. What we are going to do is go to the first brush, then we will use a alpha texture, which is, I provided a link below so you can download it for free and you can follow along after that. So if you scroll down to the tools, you will see this texture here, then just click the drop down and you will find this, and if you click this new, you can create another texture. And if you go to the properties tab, the right at the bottom, you can click this texture properties, and here you can now add in a alpha texture. So just click open, then go to the folder, then here I'm gonna use the cloth 26. So after that, just change the mapping to view plane, then increase our brush radius, then just start sculpting. So here I'm just adding in a wrinkle here, also here and here. You can spend a lot of time here, but I'm just doing this like this for the sake of the tutorial, but at least you will have the idea on how to. Something like this. So as you can see, we have now this kind of a fold, just like our reference. You can always decrease the strength of the brush or the size of the brush, depends on what you want to achieve, but for this tutorial this is good enough. So with this, we can now go to edit mode and select a loop here. Then we're gonna duplicate this, then press P to separate selection, then go to X-ray view, select the one that we separated, then with this selected, right click, then convert to curve. Then you can now have this option here, the curve properties. So if you scroll down to bevel under round, you can increase the depth, something like this. So this will act as this one here. Scale it down, then right click, shade auto smooth. So this one is done. So before I do the rest, I'm gonna show you how you can decrease the polycount of this one. As you can see, this is very dense. First, let's duplicate this, then move it to our archive. So we have back up. Then again, let's duplicate this one, put it here so we can compare. So this one is very dense, so let's change this by going to edit mode, edge, and subdivide, and you will see that if you select this, drop down here, then toggle the statistics, you can see that this one has a lot of triangles and edges. It's around 300,000, and this one, the one that we unsubdivide, only has less than 100,000 edges and triangles. So you can still, this is fine, you can use this, or you can go even more by going to edit mode, edge, and subdivide. You will have this, a model with a very low poly count. So you can use this, or you can go even more low poly and just bake the texture or the details from the high poly, and I will show you how. So here I open a new project, then I'm gonna paste here our models. So this is our, let's create this, let's rename this mid poly, something like this. This is high poly, and this is low poly. So let's hide our mid poly, and with this one, so here I'm gonna select the two objects, right click, then set origin to geometry. Then I'm gonna move this to the origin of the world, or to the 3D cursor, so they can overlap both the high poly and the low poly. Then I'm gonna select both, then press Ctrl A to apply the rotation and scale. Then I'm gonna go here to the drop down here and toggle the face orientation, so we can be sure that the normals are not flipped. Then I'm gonna go to the shader editor, Then I'm gonna select our low poly. Then I'm gonna add in a new texture. Let's say normal, low poly, normal. Then here I'm gonna add in a image texture. Then we will create a new texture here. Let's say normal map _01. Change this to 4K. Copy, paste, alpha off, then OK. Then I'm gonna change this to non-color data. Move it here. Then with that, let's now go to our render properties. Then let's make sure that we are in cycles. Then let's toggle this noise threshold off. Then set our samples to 10 so we can render very fast, or we can bake very fast. So I made a mistake. So I assigned the material on the high poly model instead of the low poly. So let's correct this by removing the material on the high poly model and assigning it to the low poly model. So this is now correct. Also take note that if you set your high poly to shade smooth, then the low poly should be in shade smooth too. So there is no problem in baking. So with that, let's do it again. Select the high poly, control select the low poly, select the image texture, go to render properties, make sure it cycles, then go to bake, then activate this, select it to active. Then I'm gonna set this to 0.05 or 3. Then I'm gonna set this to 0.05. Then you can play with this if it is not working with you, but this one I tried it yesterday and it is fine. So click bake, and you just need to wait for a couple of seconds or minutes. Almost done. So the baking is done. I will open it here so we can see it a little bit bigger. So here, this is fine for the tutorial, but you can always play with the settings here if you want to have less green area here. So with that, I'm gonna plug this into a normal map, color to color, then normal to normal. Then if we go to the render view, let's move this out and bring our high poly here. So if you look to our high poly and low poly, they do have the same details now, but the advantage is that we have our low poly set only to a less poly count than the dense high poly model we have. So that's how you bake details to a low poly model from a high poly model. So with that, I'm gonna finish modeling the rest, and I'm gonna speed up the video. So you just need to follow the process on this one and apply it to the other part of the couch. So I have finished modeling the rest, and this is the result. So if you follow along with the tutorial, you will have the same model as mine. And also this model is available to download, link in the description below. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something new. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.